Hi, this is Chris again, your real estate broker here at Get Listed Realty. In this video, I want to help you understand what needs to be disclosed when selling your home in Connecticut. This is a Connecticut specific video, but the concepts I talk about here can be applied to a home sale in any state. To start, residential property sales are very regulated in Connecticut. These laws and regulations are in place with the intention of protecting you, the consumer. After all, not everyone is an honest person, but I know that's not you, or you wouldn't be watching this video. In Connecticut, any and all residential real estate 4 units or less are required to provide any prospective buyer with a complete and accurate copy of the Connecticut Residential Property Condition Disclosure Report. And you, the seller, need to provide this report prior to a prospective buyer submitting an offer on your home. So, you will need to fill out this report and have it readily available for any buyer who is interested in your property before they make an offer. If you purchased or will be purchasing one of my listing plans here at GetListedRealty.com, then you are going to be handling the sale of your home on your own as a for sale by owner, or as I like to call, DIY style, which means you won't have an agent handling the details like this for you, and you will need to make sure both buyers and buyers' agents get a copy of this report. You can download a blank copy from my website. I put the link below. The best thing you could do when selling your home on your own is to fill out this form correctly and then print out a few dozen copies. You are then going to want to staple the report together to make it presentable for a buyer, and then put them out on the kitchen counter in one of those plastic flyer holders you can get from Staples or Amazon. This way, any buyers who come through your property for a showing can grab a copy and have the information readily available. Also, be sure to have an electronic version to email to buyers and agents if needed. If you end up working directly with the buyer and they want to make an offer, great, but make sure that you give them a copy and they provide you back with the signed report with their offer. This way, they have formally acknowledged that you gave them the disclosures report to them. If a buyer's agent ends up bringing you a buyer, typically they will ensure that the buyers provide a signed copy of the Connecticut Residential Property Conditions Disclosure Report as part of the offer they submit. However, if they don't, make sure you ask for it, because after all, it is your responsibility to ensure they get it to you. Which leads me to my next point. What happens if you don't give a prospective buyer a copy of the Property Disclosures Report? Well, just look at what it says at the top of the form. The seller will be required to credit the purchaser with the sum of $500, blah blah blah, at closing if the seller fails to furnish this report as required by said act. There it is. Those are your options. Number 1, provide a complete and accurately filled out disclosures report, or 2, pay the buyer $500 at closing. Although there is an exception to this rule. If you're an executor of an estate selling residential property for the estate, then you are not required to provide this disclosure. Okay, so we now know that we need to provide this report to buyers, but part of your requirement as a home seller is to fill out the report accurately. So how do you do that? Easy, just be honest. Currently, there are 38 questions on the report pertaining to the condition of the various components that make up your home. You have 3 options to answer these questions: yes, no, or unknown. Simple, right? Well, it is, but let me walk you through how to correctly answer these questions. Let's take a look at an example. Question number 8. Are there any plumbing system problems? How do you answer this if, say, that you, the seller, do not have any knowledge of a plumbing system problem in your home? Everything currently works just fine for you. However, in actuality, the pipes are seriously corroded and will need to be replaced soon. How do you think you should answer the question on the disclosures report? Yes, no, or unknown? The correct answer here is no. Here's why, and this is important, so pay attention. If you, the seller, do not believe that there is a problem and have no knowledge of a problem, then it is appropriate to check no. However, if you did not have any belief one way or the other, basically you have no idea, then the appropriate answer would have been unknown. On the flip side of that, if you had any knowledge of a plumbing problem, such as noticing an active leak, or a qualified professional told you about repairs needed, then the appropriate answer would have been yes. And then you should describe the problem scope in the space provided in the report. Remember, just be honest. So what happens if you're not honest? Well, I'm not an attorney, but I have heard them say that if a buyer purchases a home and discovers defects not disclosed on the report, and the seller had prior knowledge of the defects, well, that opens up you, the seller, for being liable for damages. Not to mention, you just ripped someone off, and that's not cool. The best thing you can do if you know about a problem with your home is to either disclose the problem on the report, or better yet, have the problem fixed. Here is one last thought for you on this topic. A properly filled out form is your best form of leverage when negotiating inspection items. Most home inspectors will discover any issues with the home, and the buyers will request the sellers remedy the problem before closing. However, if you disclose the problem on the report and gave the buyers the report, well, you have the upper hand in negotiating that particular item with them. Just food for thought. I hope this explains what to disclose when selling your Connecticut home and how to do it. If you have any further questions, get in contact with me through my website, or if you haven't purchased a professional listing plan yet, head over to my purchase page and get started, and be closer to selling your home and saving thousands of dollars.